went due. And many places where residents have lost hope that government has virtually forgotten them, he moved into all those unusual places and transformed them. For instance, when we talk about abandoned projects, we don't need to go far. The Adaba Road is a typical example of an abandoned project.
We'll talk about road project.
Yes.
We'll talk about road project. Let me. You mentioned salaries and what about gratuities and pensions? We know that not just in Ondo State is a big issue almost in all.
No, but here in Ondo State, if you talk to our pensioners, it is not that bad here, because every month the government puts about 200 million there about in the pensions fund. So every month somebody gets something. It may not be substantial, you may not get all the money in one fell swoop, but you are sure to get something at the end of every month. Not like before, when the whole thing was virtually abandoned. But today, every month our pensioners get something.
Okay, now let's look at some of the projects. If one moves around town, we see some of the road projects being done by the administration. You've mentioned Adaba FM Road. And one that I love very much is the Ibaraoke Ibuji Road, and I believe we did a report on that. Some of these projects, how many road projects are ongoing at the moment?
At the moment, we should have about 50, because at last count it was 43, but I think in the last 2 weeks many more have been added, so we should be talking about 50 road projects, or about 50 of them about
that are ongoing.
That are ongoing, yes. And don't also forget that every local government, all the caretaker committees in our various local government, have also constructed 1 kilometer per local government.
Okay. Actually, the Fire Administration did that in his first coming.
Yes.
Okay. Now, let's look at some of these roads. Most governments, when they come in, state governors, they love doing roads where in city centers where people will see and all of that. Yes. But in your own case, we've seen roads like the Ibuji Ibaraoke Road that has been abandoned for a very long time. And I remember on this station we did so many reports about that road, asking government to do something about it. Finally, it has done something about it. Another place is another road is the Sharon Township Road. Some of these rural roads, what is the idea behind it? Why is Akeredolu so interested in that?
The governor's philosophy is that everybody in Ondo State deserves good access road, quality road. If you look at the roads you talked about now, you know, the day the governor went on inspection tour of Isharu Road, and I heard some people whispering, Isharu, how can you do this kind of drainage in Isharu? The drains are super in terms of quality. From that road also leads to Ibaraoke. From Ibaraoke. Terminates at that military point, then to Ibuji, Ibaraudo, as is. The drainage are quality of the highest quality you can ever think of. There is no point building a road that will not last, and that's the governor's philosophy. Our people deserve the best. Our people deserve the best, and that's his philosophy. We look at that road. Virtually all our roads, they are this imprimatur, and it's been very easy because also the government has one thing going for him: his integrity. You can say anything about Akeredolu, but it has a name, the Aketi brand, which it's celebrated everywhere. All the contractors handling these projects, none of them was mobilized to site.
They were not given anything.
We award the contract. We pass it through all the tenders board, all the other processes, and you get it. But the condition is that go and start work. When you have done
A certain percentage.
we look at you raise certificate, we'll pay you. If the road falls short of the expected standard in terms of quality that will ensure durability, you can be sure that your money is, you are just playing game with your money. You ain't going to get it done. You have to go back to site and repair the road to specification. And that's what has happened today. So nobody wants to go and walk on one road twice when you know your money is at stake.
They will have to get their
So
money.
everywhere the quality is the same. Everywhere the quality is the same. In small places like Sharon, Ibuji, you look at the road, you ask yourself, wow. That's why anywhere I go to, what you hear is, wow.
It is not uncommon for state government to, go to the, take bonds, take loans and all of that. How is it financing some of these projects?
Well, to date, you can't take bonds under the table. It has processes and procedures to go to House of Assembly. The people we hear about, to date, what the governor has done is judicious management of state's lead resources. That's the truth. And of
So
course,
he has not taken any, even bank loan.
well, except in the case like the Super project, we had to approach a bank
To get your own
raise the
counterpart
funding.
funding.
Apart from that, I think all the roads have been financed largely from our lean resources. All you need to do is, it's about priorities. For instance, since the governor came into office, maybe he just bought one official car. None of us, nobody in the state cabinet has official car. On my way to Larry this morning, I sat in the chief of staff's car, and we're just joking there that look,
You do not have official cars, but government has vehicles even before you came into office. What happened to those vehicles?
well, most of those vehicles are old.
Okay.
The last government, for instance, spent 8 years. So they used some of those vehicles. The one that they took some of the vehicles away, but the remnants were.
Who took some of the vehicles away?
As part of their severance package. Yes.
Okay.
So what was left, the remnants are just wrecks. These are vehicles that cannot take it to anywhere. But on our way to Lara this morning, I sat with Chivale, that's the chief of staff, and we're in the convoy. As the convoy was moving, the chief of staff couldn't cope because it's an old car. So look at that kind of sacrifice. Nobody in the cabinet has official car. The SSG, the chief of staff, commissioners, advisors, chairman of board and president, nobody has any new car.
So how do you go around? How do you go by your duties?
We manage
The ones
the
you have.
what we inherited, the old ones. So there are several things that government has said, look, all this one we wait. We must give good
But
governance.
how is everybody reacting to that? I'm asking you that. We're still going to go back to the issues of projects and policies. How are people in government knowing politicians for who they are? How are they taking that?
Okay, now I'll give you an example. How do I react to it? I'm from Idon Reference.
You're not a politician.
No, I'll just give you an example.
I'm talking about the politicians in government. You are a technocrat in government. Let's talk about the politicians in government.
The politicians and all of us in government, top government functionaries. You don't have official car and you complain. But when I go to my area in Idore, for instance, nobody remembers official car. People celebrate the government, people celebrate me when they see quality road that have been attracted to those communities. So, okay, you have a brand new car and you're driving everywhere, you cannot access your home.
So you're saying your colleagues are not complaining?
No, we are not complaining, we are happy. See, public service is essentially
You just use the word happy.
We are not complaining. We are happy.
Let me ask you this. I'm asking you this question because I've I've had allegations of people in government saying that the governor has not treated them well. Maybe, just like we said, politicians, maybe the governor has not been able to meet their expectations, the expectations they had before they came into government. And there are people within the ESCO who are also like that.
Well, I'm not aware, Dimeji. What I know is that the people of Ondo State are happy with their governor. People in Adaba FM are happy with their governor.
We're talking about politicians. We're talking about politicians.
People from Ilaluji.
Honorable Commissioner, you are not answering my question. Not the common people. We're talking about the people in government.
The people in government. At least my colleagues and I are happy, are proud of our governor.
You think if they are listening to you now, any of your colleagues will be saying, Yemi is saying the right thing, he's saying the truth?
No, they know me for that. They know I will say the truth at all times. There's no
okay, Honorable Commissioner.
We are happy because we are serving in a government that has impacted the life of people of Ondo State positively.
You know, one thing that happens in government, Honorable Olowolabi, one of the things that happen in government is that when you're given an appointment, because of the nature of the Nigerian system, people look up to you for a lot of things, and they want you to empower them, a lot of them. And when it is not coming, some of these funds, which you cannot, some of these things you cannot take care with your salary, when it's not coming from the right place, for instance, maybe from the Alga, who they say is not allegedly taking very good care of them, some of them say they are being devalued in their communities. What do you say to that?
Well, these are ARCs. I doubt if there's anybody, any of us, who will come out and say, "Oh, I've been devalued in my community."
They don't have to come out and say it. They say they whisper it.
You
must have had whispers, Honorable Olowolabi.
I just told you that many of us feel proud when we go home.
Proud, but when your pocket is not proud.
See, it depends on your definition of pocket. See, governance is about affecting the lives of the people. I represent my people in the state.
I understand that, but do you think everybody in government understands it that way? That it should be about the people and not about them?
That, I think we do. That is the philosophy we have imbibed, and we are happily doing it.
Okay, let's talk about education. You mentioned Subeb the other time.
Yeah.
The last administration came with his idea of mega schools and all of that. What is Akeredolu's own policy in the education sector? What is the magic wand that he wants to use to turn things around?
Well, you can't be asking what he wants to do now.
That he's doing.
He's been there for 2 years and he has done so well.
I know that at some point the government was talking about renovating schools.
Yes.
Renovating. How far have you gone with that?
At least, at the last count, we must have done over 800 public schools across the state.
Secondary and primary schools across the state.
Yes. Because the concept of mega schools.
This renovation, what does it entail?
Fantastic.
Repainting, remodeling?
So in some cases, they demolish some and rebuild totally. Then every one of them we fence.
Okay.
We put borehole. We put.
What kind of borehole? The hand pump?
No. We will sink deep borehole. Then we put all this recreational equipment.
I know. I'm asking if it's hand pump. The one they call Congadero.
No.
Or if it's the one that is.
It's proper borehole.
Okay.
With solar power.
Oh, okay.
Everywhere. If you go to all the schools today, they are all fenced. And many more will still be done. You see, the concept of mega school, which was introduced by
the Mimiko administration,
was good. It was good. But the truth is that many of the mega schools were virtually abandoned. Even before we came on board, the one in Ondo, one in Ondo Shida, had been given to the University of Medical Sciences as temporary campus. The one in Igbodigo in Okitiukwa government had been given to Osustek as temporary campus. So, virtually all of them, because the reality is that those schools were just big. There were no students there. In many of the cases, the students could not even fill half of those schools. So, virtually all of them today, are being used for other purposes. So there's no point continuing with that kind of policy.
In that direction.
We have the money that we used to build one mega school today. We renovate
Some of these things you're putting up in these schools, for instance, the solar powered balls. What are you doing about maintenance?
That's it's very simple. What is key is security. Security.
I'm talking about the usage now, the people who
yes.
use it.
No, but I talked about security, that which comes first. Because in most cases, most facilities like that get easily vandalized by people in the neighborhood overnight.
Your solar panels can be stolen.
Can be stolen. So what we have done is to ensure that every public school now going this renovation has a fence, has a gate, so you have security men at the gate. So and the solar panels are well maintained. Their service as well given. And you know, virtually solar panels is virtually does not really require any once it's well installed. But from time to time, the schools maintain them and they're happy. They're happy. You have toilet facilities. You have water system that runs. We have playground kit for the kids. It is an amazing innovation in our public school.
One of the big issues in the education sector, even before you came into office, was the availability of enough teachers in schools. I remember there was a time where even communities in your local government, where you're from, there are cases where they said they had only one teacher per school, and
honestly, that is a major issue.
What is being done about it? Is your government planning to recruit teachers?
That's a major issue. I'm aware that these issues have come up again and again, and I'm sure efforts have been.
Has it been tabled at the ESCO, at your ESCO?
I think on that it has come up a couple of times, and I can assure you something will be done in that direction.
What's the governor's what's his stance on that? Is it planning to recruit teachers? Because there are willing people already to teach.
Yes, yes, but don't also forget that there are other places. There are other places in government where people are overstaffed. We also
so you want to do redistribution?
Redistribution. It's a possibility.
Okay.
But it doesn't stop us from recruiting when necessary.
But you must agree that when you take somebody who, for instance, works in the Ministry of Works in Akure, and then you're doing redistribution, and then all of a sudden you just take them to far-flung places. How do you compensate that? I know for instance in Ekiti State, FIME does what it calls rural allowance. So
you know that happened here before under Dr. Agagu.
Okay.
We had what they call rural teachers allowance to them. Do so, and I think we'll work on all of those ones, and at the appropriate time, the public will communicate with the public on how best to address that issue. But I can assure you, the government is equally concerned about the inadequacy of teachers
in schools.
In public schools. Yeah.
Now let's look at the S sector. I know that people who are listening now will be wondering, and I know they're not going to like it if I don't mention the Mother and Child Hospital. In fact, I have somebody here who had that experience. The Mother and Child Hospital, one of the legacies of the Mimiko administration. The state that they say that place is in now is not so good. I don't know if that has been brought to the attention of the governor.
I remember at the time
torn window nets,
I remember at
mosquitoes.
The time when they had issues there, and the governor visited personally, and it was promptly fixed. I'm not aware if there are other issues there. But
Honorable Commissioner, you should send somebody.
Let me tell you,
or you can do your own personal
the
findings.
concept of mother and child under our administration. When we came in, the mother and child hospitals were in Akure and in Ondo. And this administration took its time to look at the fact that we have 3 senatorial districts: the north, the central, and the south. And you have 2 mother and child hospitals. What is the leader of the party doing? Immediately after the presidential and national assembly election, the government tried to reach out to everybody across all the divides. They aggrieved, those who are angry. I remember that by the time we were preparing for the House of Assembly election, the governor, even those who were aggrieved in the north, in the south, they were all invited to a meeting with Mr. Governor, and all this.
Everybody was there.
Yes.
Borofish was there.
Professor Borofish was not available.
Shagwe Brown.
Shagwe Brown was not there, and I don't think Mr. Shagwe Brown has featured prominently in the politics.
He's your party member.
Oh, sure, yes.
And now that the case is over,
case is over, but I'm sure that
because I read your statement, no victor, no vanquished. No, so that is just a statement. Beyond that statement, as the governor reached out to him,
as the spokesperson of the state, it was one statement that Mr. Governor said, "Look, this is the direction going forward. No victor, no vanquished. It's a victory for APC and everybody, including in his word. I'm quoting that." My brother, Shagwe Abraham, should come and join hands with us to build a greater Ondo state. In
the statement, yes. That's a statement. Has he called Abraham? Has he reached out to him? Sure, he's the leader. You know, sometimes yes, as a father, sure you have to bring everybody together.
The governor is reaching out to a lot of people. You'll be amazed when you find out the number of people he's reaching out to. It's amazing. Because it looked at it that, look, what are we fighting for? We are members of the same party. And we are better when we win election, when we are in power. So he's trying to reach out to a large spectrum of people. Yesterday we had an evening with Mr. Governor at the Government House grounds. And members of the party from all walks of life, from Akoko, from Akotongbo, from wherever, people came. And they spoke their minds. And the governor listened to them, responded, and from the interaction that happened yesterday, it's clear that APC in this state, it's back.
Senator Borofish, I spoke with him last week, Senator Professor Borofish Ajay, and he told me that he will be contesting the Deputy Senate Presidency seat. As he told the governor, is the governor on board with that ambition?
Well, I'm not aware of that. And of course, if he tells the governor that he wants to run, the governor will support him. Why not? It will be a major blessing for those states.
Would the governor not see it as a threat that maybe in 2020 maybe he could come back and contest against
the office of a deputy senate president is not the same thing as
but that will give him more leverage to come back and contest against the governor.
He contested against the governor
as a senator, but as deputy senate president now he would have more leverage.
What leverage? He's Abuja Senate Abuja. How does that affect the common people here?
Honorable Olowolabi, you know what I'm talking about. This is politics.
No, this is politics too. We are talking about a governor that has affected the lives of our people in those states. We are talking about a governor that has built more roads, more than any governor has done in the history of this state. We are talking about a governor who have rebuilt over 800 public schools. We are talking about a governor who has brought a new chapter in industrialization to Ondo State. We're talking about a governor who prioritizes the welfare of the workers. We are talking about a governor who is changed the narrative about Ondo State. Whatever happens in Abuja, either at the Senate or whatever, does not affect the psyche of the ordinary voter in Ondo State. President Borofish, fantastic man, an academic, a professor, great man. If he wants to contest, is eminently qualified. They will meet on the field. They met 2 years ago. It's no big deal. That's not. But but as of today, President Borofish is the Senate, and he wants to be Deputy Senate President. Of course, he will have our support. It will be a big blessing, the major boost for all those state people. Let's leave politics out of things like this. Our governor will support him, like he will support any Ondo State person aspiring to such a high office. So it has nothing to do with whether...
Let's talk about your brother from Midori.
Don't also forget that election, we're talking about Senate, that that will be inaugurated in June. Election in Ondo State is still next year.
Next year.
Yeah,
A year in politics is like a day.
No,
You know
if
that.
we have
You
them
know
to
that.
celebrate president today, it's
A
a
year,
push for
a year in politics is like a day. Let's talk about two of your brothers from Idori. Let me first talk about the guy who won the House of Representatives seat from Idori, so who is an SDP, was a member of your party,
Yes.
went to the SDP. People like him who left your party to other parties because we are aggrieved. Is there anything that the governor is doing to bring them back?
Oh, yes. Honestly, I can tell you here that the young man,
Small Alaji, they
Alaji,
call him, yeah.
Tajuddin, Adeyemi, Adefisoye, Small Alaji, though he went and contested on the platform of SDP and won, and he has told me that he's still a member of APC. And of course, the governor has congratulated him and reached out to him, and he's still a member of our party. Forget whatever has happened. At the end of the day, it makes us bigger. That people left, it's not only here. People have left their party to go and contest on other platforms.
Yeah, we're talking about Ondo State.
Of course, in most cases, some of them still return to their party. Like I know that Small Ajin is in touch with the governor. The governor has congratulated him, and he has pledged his loyalty to the governor as well. So, see, more than you know, more than you can imagine, APC in Ondo State remains a big family.
Let's talk about your other brother from Idori. That's the party chairman, Dimeji. Has he become more accommodating towards party members now? Because that was one big complaint about him.
Well, I don't know where these complaints are coming from. I live in Idori. I'm also one of the party leaders in APC in Idori. And we have leaders meeting regularly in his house.
I'm not talking about Idori. I'm talking about him as the party
as the
chairman
No,
to everybody, to all members in Ondo
Let me also
State.
tell you that Adetime is a consummate politician who has tremendous capacity for gathering people. If I is one person that I see him sometimes, like I refer to him as a nomadic, but he's always on the road. He's in Akoko today, he's in the tomorrow, he's everywhere.
So it's safe to say that he sees everybody as one.
No, yeah, that is, it's an asset. There's no doubt about that. Adetime remains an astute politician that he is. See, in politics, once you fall out with an individual, all you try to do is to blackmail, call him names and all that. But so far, Adetime has stood the test of time as a consummate politician. That's the fact.
Let's talk about the governor. How would you describe it? You work with him day in, day out. What kind of politician is he?
I think he's just a fair-minded individual. That's him. And it's not your regular politician. Rotimi Akeredolu said, it's a humanist. It's a very fair-minded person. What is right is right. There is no other way. When people come to thank him that
They say gets angry easily. Is that true?
Well, you have also.
But does he hold grudges? It's one thing to get angry, it's another thing to hold grudges.
I know that if Aketi gets angry with you, he'll be the one that will call you the next minute, and he'll start.
So he does not hold grudges
at all. He's an amazing character. Working with him is a delight. Because day in, day out, I've learned from him the virtue of fair-mindedness. Aketi is not somebody you go and lie, you go to and say, oh, so, I don't. The next minute he's calling the person. But, come, oh, somebody is here, he said you said this. And when you go and tell him, the first response is, how? And he will tell you the truth at all times. Maybe what people say about him is extremely forthright. It has spoken, he speaks his mind regardless of whose horse is God. And when he says it, when he speaks, and there's what we call a cliche now. We say nothing will happen.
That was one off for.
Once he's convinced that something is right, he says it and he does it.
But
Okay, I give you an example.
in a political environment, do you think that is right? Sometimes you can be right and not be politically correct.
You are right, but like a man says, at 62, you can't change him because what he does works for him.
Does he not think that sometimes this could send a very bad impression, create a very bad impression about him? You know, for those of you who are in government, you could say things about him because you know him. What about people who are not so close to him? People who will, at the end of the day, vote for him should really want to seek re-election.
Those are the people who today are beneficiaries of his many projects across the state. That is their own interface with Akedolu. You stay, for instance, look at Adaba, the Adaba road. I'll keep talking about because I remember that when this road was impassable, you were always talking about it here. Every program, Adaba road is
as
bad.
We are talking about it now.
We are talking about it now that the road is.
That
now,
the governor, the state government is working on it.
Let me ask you: did you at any time visit the governor to complain about your road? No.
I would not know that.
I know
would
that.
not know if the GM did that.
He never
So
did.
I
He never did.
cannot
If the GM
speak
wants,
to that fact.
If the GM wants to see the governor, he will call me. And I know that he only told me one day about this road. Every time I come here, he mentioned this road. Yemi can't do that road. I said, look, I've mentioned it to the governor, and there's something we've done about it. And before you knew it, the road is wearing a new look now. And this is a primator in every nook and crannies of Ondo State. That is
But you should also know.
That is your interface with the governor. For example, you may say you do not know.
Beyond that,
Yes.
I've had other interfaces with you.
Yes.
Let's not go into that. Honorable Yemi Olowolabi, what is your Olowolabi? What is your final word to the people of Ondo State before we go on the program?
I think we are lucky at this time to have Olowolabi as a governor, and it doesn't happen all the time. It doesn't, and I mean it. It doesn't happen all the time. When you have a man who epitomizes integrity, a man who symbolizes honesty, forthrightness, and a man who has a passion for the people.
How would you like to be remembered? As he said it,
He says it all the time.
How would you like to be remembered? How would you like to go down in history?
As governor of Ondo State, who came, who saw, who came and conquered. He want to be remembered as a man who met who inherited a civil service state and left it industrialized. That's why I'm inviting you to the industrial park to come and see what is going on there.
It's very important there this week.
He keeps saying it all the time that look, we are building road for our people, it's good. We are building school for our people, it's good. But we must create job for our people. All these people that will graduate from these schools, they need job. So he would like to be remembered as a governor who came and met a civil service state and left it industrialized.
Thank you very much, Honorable
That's my
Yemi
pleasure.
Olowolabi,
My pleasure.
Commissioner for Information, Ondo State, for coming on to this edition of the Roundtable. My name is Dimeji, and it's been nice talking to you. This is where we draw the curtain. Join me sometime next Monday when we come back on another edition of the Roundtable.